Explosive, submitted by Mark Toby M. Saganday, submitted to Dr. Eileen T.G. Cuenca. Lesson objectives: describe explosive, differentiate of low and high types of explosive, classify the explosive based on the compositions, describe the purpose of forensic explosive analysis. So, ano nga ba yung explosive? Ito yung mga example natin ng explosive. Explosive is any substance or device that can be made to produce a volume of rapidly expanding gas in the extremely brief period. Differentiate of low and high types of explosive. So, low explosive are mixture of chemicals that burn very rapidly, but this is meaning that they deflagrate. They consist typically fuel and an oxidizer. So dito, black powder is used in fireworks is one of the example of the low explosive. So the black powder burns very quickly, but to get it to bang, we have to contain it. Sa detonate naman or high explosive, nagko-consist ito ng material that typically combine the reacting element in the same molecules. Inaalaw niya ito na mag-react much faster and they detonate. Sa detonations, ini-involve nito yung supersonic shock waves that pass through the material causing chemistry that happens quick, a bit faster than burning. High explosive do not need to be contained to make their bang. And then sa classify an explosive based on the compositions, meron tayong chemical explosive, nuclear explosive, and mechanical explosive. Sa mechanical explosive is one that depends on the physical reaction such as overloading a container with compressed air, such as device has some applications in meaning where the release of gas from chemical explosive may be answerable, but otherwise is very little use. And then sa nuclear explosive, is one in which sustained nuclear reactions can be made to take place with almost instant rapidly, releasing large amount of energy. Almost all nuclear explosive devices that have been designed and produced are nuclear weapons intended to the warfare. So, for example, yung atomic bomb na nilaglag nila sa Hiroshima, Japan in 1945, contained only about 64 kilograms or 140 pounds of high enriched uranium. So, nag-release ito ng energy equaling about 15 kilotons of chemical explosive. Sa chemical explosive naman, basically has two types, detonating or high explosive and deflagrating or low explosive. Detonating explosives such as TNT and dynamite are characterized by extremely rapid decompositions and development of high pressures, where the deflagrating explosives such as black and smokeless powders involve merely fast burning and produce relatively low pressures. Sa intact explosive naman, there are two separate examinations performed in the forensic analysis of explosives: identifications and characterizations of the intact explosive and examinations of the explosive debris. So, the examiner will be analyzing intact explosive and residues as well as intact or fragmented device components. The overall objective of forensic explosive examinations is the identifications of any explosive presence. If the intact explosive particles were found, the type of explosive producer and brand name might be identified. Sa contrast naman, trace residues, explosive may be analyzed and classified but are difficult to identify. Variables such as ambient temperature, weather conditions, and temperatures and pressures at the time of explosions all duplicate the forensic analytical process.